Eclipse in the darkness, shun the mortal lights, ignite the will to live on, kill the thoughts of suicide. Don't listen to those demons and their torture cries. The world will not be a better place if you take your life. Listen to the elders, this road they've gone before, denying death its victory, to open up the door. Gather with their masses, join in and sing along. In the deep throes of desperation, birth the salvation song. I saw the light. It came and invaded my darkest night. War is raging heavy, invasion presses on and on. Defenses keep shrinking as hope barely hangs on. Heart chained to darkness, tongue to confess the same. The battle will never end without full surrender of the brave. It's never easy in the dark night of the soul. Once the grip is tightened, to choke and let go. It takes many hands to break the stranglehold. In order to counteract it, the action must be extreme and bold. Listen to the elders, this road they've gone before, denying death its victory, to open up the door. Gather with their masses, join in and sing along. In the deep throes of desperation, birth the salvation song. I saw the light. It came and invaded my darkest night. I saw the light. It came and invaded my darkest night.
Darkness in the heart and the loss of hope are not easily sown into the soul. They begin with the smallest amount of disdain for life itself. Any grievance, bitterness, or anger, no matter how great or small, how justified or unjustified, starts to take root in even the shallowest of soil. Slowly the roots begin to spread, at first unknowingly, then quite consciously. They are cultivated until, in total darkness, light diffuses before evaporating. The heart withers, hope disappears, and a sense of meaninglessness pervades. Let the invasion begin. It will make its track from the heart to the head, millimeter by millimeter, inch by inch. It spreads like a massive web, even entangling itself. It gathers its forces, amasses its troops, and forms its defenses. It is preparing for the skirmish at the mouth. Strategically, it targets the tongue. Strike after precise strike, until the full onslaught commences. In one decisive blow, the tongue surrenders and confesses allegiance to the same darkness that is holding the heart hostage. In a raucous victory cry, the darkness says, "Now on to the head." As at this point, the tongue and the heart join forces, and it is now 2 against 1. It is only time until the mind surrenders. The mind is the master of point and counterpoint. It is strategic in its methods of survival, of defense, and of attack. However, in spite of its superior intellectual ability, it is still subject to manipulation. The heart interprets every micro-expression as it feels the tongue to chip away at the brain's defenses. It taunts, "Dear citizen of this body, you are alone and resistance is futile. Once the overthrow is complete, no one will even miss you. As a matter of fact, a new age of prosperity will begin for everyone, but only if you surrender to our dictates." The mind quickly retorts and reassures itself that this is simply not so. Each passing day, the darkness continues to chip away, grain by grain, at the mighty wall, the fortress of reason, until the full onslaught commences. The wave of propaganda strikes like a flurry of jackhammers to destroy and fill every compartment in the brain from floor to ceiling. In a last-ditch effort, the Ministry of Truth is sent en masse. To combat the well-spun lies, every vile point is passionately contested, but the lies are so deeply ingrained that the truth appears to be the lie. It appears that all hope is lost. The time spent in the dark council of the mind, with all its reassuring self-talk, distorts the perception of reality. The last bastion of defenses erode like a mighty cliff surrenders to the pounding waves below. It is easy to convince ourselves that we will not be missed. No one will care, is what we say to ourselves. This is simply not true. Not only will you be greatly missed, but your family will be completely devastated. The aftermath is never pretty, and it will bring pain, doubt, and regret. They will never be the same. They will never recover, and that is just your family. Your friends and co-workers, even acquaintances, will all be devastated too. I'm going to share a personal story. Several years ago, my oldest daughter married her high school sweetheart. She invited many friends, many of which we knew from when she went to high school, but others we had never met before. Most of these people she knew from the online gaming community. One of these people was a young man who showed up at our house unannounced on the day of the wedding. We were startled and standoffish at first. Despite our initial reservations, we found him to be kind-hearted and helpful. He was bright. It was obvious that he cared deeply for his friends. Once we arrived at the church, he kept asking us if there was anything he could do to help make our daughter's day special. There are always loose odds and ends that need to be done. No matter what we asked, he did it without question. At the reception, we ran out of seats, and he took it upon himself to start bringing down more chairs from upstairs. He stayed and he helped clean up. We talked to him about his life, his hopes, and his dreams. We spent more time with him the next day before he headed back home. We absolutely fell in love with him. We thought about him all the time. We would ask our daughter how he was doing, and to let him know that we thought about him often. But one day, our daughter called us hysterically crying. told us that he decided to take his life. There is not a week or two that go by that we still do not think of him. We only knew him for such a short time, and we were profoundly affected by his passing. Imagine all those who knew him more intimately, and there were hundreds, maybe even thousands who did. But even if it was only 10, or if it was only 5, or even if it was just one person, it was still too many people walking around with a gaping hole in their heart. I tell you this because the lies that you will not be missed, or it will not matter, or it would be better for everyone if I was gone, are so common that they need to be exposed for what they really are, a fabrication posing as reality. It is not true, it has never been true, nor will it ever be true. It is in these times that you need to desperately exchange this lie with the truth of what you know deep down inside. The truth that you will be greatly missed, and those closest to you, those who love you, albeit imperfectly, will be devastated. You do not only owe it to yourself, but you also owe it to them, and you owe it to those who one day you may meet, and you will enrich their lives to seek every possible alternative. In a secret chamber, far out of sight, born of desperation, an exasperated cry pierces the boundary line. A secret longing for brightness begins, the hue opaque and the tone dim, but not devoid of all light. The dark night of the soul wanes like the moon. One day, far into the future, the soul exclaims, I was drowning in shallow water, trapped under thin ice. To live on the edge, I never thought twice, until my world came crashing in. The reflection of what was seen was a cloudy pool. The image looking down saw only the distortions of the image looking back. Millions of souls testify that in the trenches of hopelessness, every day was a struggle just to get by, but I kept on trying, even though I did not know why. Then all of a sudden one day, the dark clouds rolled away. That's when I saw the light, and it came and invaded my darkest night. That last paragraph is a fitting end. We live in times where it's not easy. We're continuously isolated, though we are supposedly connected. We are living in a time where we have been shut in, where we've been cut off from our friends, where a lot of the things that we used to enjoy and do are no longer things that we are able to enjoy and do. For many, this change has led to deep depression, anxiety, and loneliness. And there are many who are considering going the way of auto-expiration. In this time of desperation, they seek to take their own life into their own hands, to the point of even bringing it to an end. Suicide is not the answer. Suicide is not a viable option. It only brings a flood of questions and no real answers to anyone, especially those that are left behind. Their lives will not be enriched at all. We have all been, and specifically for those of you who are seriously contemplating suicide, know that all of us have been in a desperate place as we try to find meaning and purpose in this life. When I was younger, even I lost my will to carry on. I was reminded of this when I read the words to a song that I had written 30 plus years ago. And one portion of the song says, I used to wake up every day and think in a very peculiar way. I wish I'd get shot, popped, rubbed out, die. But why? When I didn't even know my own fate. Well, I know it's not easy. Don't give up hope. Let any small ray of light make its way into your heart. Hang on. Don't give up. Reach out. Seek help from friends, from family, from trusted professionals, and most of all, cry out to God. I've known so many people who, just like you, were in the deep throes of desperation. And it was at that point that God stepped in